Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Power and Science and Money podcast, brought to you by your boy King Freeze. Hey, yeah, this week we right back at you. What episode are we on? I think like 9, 8. I don't know. Anyway, what we're gonna be talking about is right there. You can see it right here, right here. We're gonna be talking about economies. But before we do all that, make sure you smash up that like button. And make sure that you subscribe to me on Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, everywhere, YouTube. Just put in Power and Science and Money. You'll see your boy pop up. Also, make sure you check out my dance studio at www.kpasjapan.com because I am doing it live over there as well. We're doing K-Pass TV, and this week's episode number 3, is about me, your boy, King Free. So if you want to know a little bit about the person that you've been listening to, check me out. Let me get this thing straight away real quick. Oh my God. Anyway, okay, let's talk about economies. Now, this week's suggested reading, if you follow me on Instagram, you will see that this week's suggested reading was How Economies Grow and Crash. It's written by Peter Schiff and his brother. I forget his brother's name, but I think it's like a variation of their father's book, which was Why Economies Grow and Why They Do Not. But anyway, it's a very, very basic concept of how economies grow, or how they should grow. And that's why I want to use that book as a good point of reference for all you out there. But for all you lazy readers, I'm going to take all that book and condense it down into 10 minutes, small individual bites, so you all can understand it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we're trying to do here, trying to make things more understandable for everybody out there. Okay. So let's first talk about what an economy is. An economy is a collective of different markets, right? So you have entertainment markets, you got fish markets, you got stock markets, you got clothing markets. And those are broken down further by the transactions that happen within that market. So for me, I'm in entertainment. So let's say I do a party and you have a need that you want to go to a party, and then you pay me to get into that party. That's a transaction. Now, let's say there's several different, party promoters within that, market. That's the entertainment market. Us collectively make the entertainment market. Now that breaks down even further when you go to the clothing market, the fish market, the meat market, whatever markets. All those markets collectively together create what is called the economy. Now, the book breaks it down really, 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 really Barney style is what we say in the military. Barney style, so all you guys can understand. But he uses fish as a, kind of a, something to talk about. Like, I guess that's supposed to be like the money. So whenever I say fish, think about money. I don't like that analogy, but it works. Here we go. So in the book opens up with 3 people on a small island. They fish, they spend their time every day, all day, fishing for fish by hand, which is really not that productive. So when they catch one fish, they go and then they consume that fish. So they catch one fish a day, they eat one fish a day. So there's no savings. So why is savings important? I'll let you know why savings is important. Because for an economy to grow, there needs to be more productivity. Now, if you consume everything that you produce, then you cannot expand. There's no economic expansion, all right? So anyway, they're fishing every day, eating one fish every day. So it's a zero-sum game for everybody, right? So check this out. One day, one guy gets very smart, or he thinks he has a smart idea, and he says, hey, I'm not going to fish today. I'm going to spend today actually trying to create something that would allow me to catch more fish. So I'm going to create a net. So I'm going to forego or take the opportunity cost. Remember, we talked about opportunity cost in a few episodes before. So if you haven't seen that one, check it out. So he takes the opportunity cost and says, I'm going to create a net. So he takes the day off of fishing. He creates a net, and the next day he comes back and he's able to fish with a net this time, and now he catches 2 fish per day. So what does that allow him to do? It allows him to consume 1 fish per day and then rest the next day. So every other day now he has to he does not have to fish, right? So he fishes on Monday, takes off on Tuesday, fishes on Wednesday, takes off on Thursday, because he's producing more and he's consuming less than he produces, right? Which is ideal, which is optimal, right? He's producing, but he's consuming less. He's not saying, hey, all right, now that I can produce two fishes, I'm going to eat two fishes. That's not very smart because he's going to be back in the same situation as he was before. So he's a smart individual, and he says, hey, listen, there's several things I can do with my money. I can either save it, I can consume it, I can invest it, I can lend it out, or number 5, I can do a combination of all. And that's what the book is really trying to say. So in this instance, the guy says, hey, I have extra fish. And then someone else, now that I have extra time because I have extra savings with my fish, I can do other things that I'm interested in doing. So let's say that one of the other fishers says, hey, I'm really good at creating clothes. I want to create clothes. And one of the other fishers said, hey, I want to just have a vacation. So give me one fish so that I can just sleep all day. So now he has to decide who will he lend a fish to, right? So on one hand, you have one guy that wants to borrow fish just to sleep. He just wants to take a day off. So he needs to fish. But you have another person that says, I want to produce something. So for that economic system, him being a wise lender would say, hey, I'm going to lend to the person that wants to create a shirt. Why? Because they will produce something that will contribute to the economy. This other guy wants to consume. He wants to borrow a loan. He wants to borrow some fish or money and consume it immediately. And he doesn't produce anything. And also, he's not going to be able to repay what he's borrowed because he's consumed it. He didn't move forward. He's not going to go work harder the next day to produce 2 more fishes so he can pay off his old loan. He's just going to consume what you've given him, and he's not going to repay it back. That's a bad loan. So you invest with the person that creates shirts, and then bam, you just created a clothing market. And that's how economies grow. They grow off the savings and the willingness of the people with savings to lend out their money to other individuals. Now, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but for the gist of it, that's pretty much what it is. People save their money and then they invest in other things or other people or other ideas that they believe will generate more money in return. So now let's say that same person that has, an abundance of fish because he's created a net, which is called capital. He's created a capital product that he's able to use to generate or produce more fish, right? That's his capital. Now he says, hey, I have more time. So on my days off, I'm going to create more fishing nets. So now he says I have 10 fishing nets. Now, obviously he can't go out and fish with 10 nets at a time, right? So what does he do? He hires individuals. So now that he's hired individuals, he comes to you and says, hey, I will pay you X amount of fish to fish for me. So if you catch 10 fish a day, I will pay you 4 fish a day. That's a 6 fish profit for me. That's $6 profit for me, right? So it's productive for everyone. It's productive for me. It's productive for the individual that I just hired. And then hopefully that person does the same thing. They take their money and then they save some and they consume less. The economy grows and it expands. I'm creating jobs. I'm providing for them. They take that money and they go buy other things that they want, which continues to create productivity, and the economy grows. But there's one key to that. There's one crucial key to that, and that's that consumption needs to be less than production. Let me repeat that one more time. Consumption needs to be less than production. Do people do that every day? Or is that what Americans are doing?
Nope.
No, they are not doing that. They are not doing that. That's why production is not as active as it used to be in America, because we've become a consumer society. We buy things without producing things. So there's an economic imbalance, and you can reduce that more down to yourself. You need to look at yourself as an economy. What you produce, you don't want to consume. If you earn $1, you don't want to spend $1. If you earn $1, you want to spend 50 cents, right? Because you want to have that much in savings so that you can do other things that you want to do. Invest in other capital or other ideas that allow you to take the risk. Because when you have that savings, you feel more comfortable taking the risk, right? So that's what economies are all about. Economies are about building and working on savings. The more savings there are in the banks, the more the banks are able to, hopefully, what banks are supposed to be doing is looking at each individual borrower, like I was talking about earlier, looking at them and saying, is this a consumption loan or is this a productivity loan? What are they going to do with this loan? Are they going to create jobs? Or are they going to be productive in the community? Or are they just going to go to Vegas and spend it all and likely not to pay back the loan? That's what banks are supposed to be doing. Banks are supposed to be a steward or diligent lender of your money, because they're also providing a service. Think about what banks do. You put your money in the bank and they say, we will pay you an interest, a very small interest, on the money that you put in the bank. And what you're doing is they're acting as an intermediary between you and a potential borrower, right? Because I'm a lender, right? But I don't have the wherewithal or the knowledge to determine who is a safe investment and who is not. That's the bank's job. So I give the bank my money, and then they go out and they vet these people. People come to them with ideas. I want to create this and that. And it's the bank's job to look at that and say, all right, this is not a risky loan, or it is a risky loan. If it is a risky loan, they charge a higher interest. If it's too risky, they just don't give the money at all. But if it's a good low risk, then they will give the loan at a lower interest rate. But I get paid as well, because I'm also taking a risk by them putting my money in the bank and trusting them to, be somewhat, responsible with my money. And the bank is taking a risk as well, because they have to look at each individual and think, is this person willing to pay this loan back or able to pay this loan back? They're taking a risk as well. So it's all an economic balance. It's a balance game. So when I was talking about before that, credit is not good, I believe when I say that, I'm saying that too much credit, I don't like credit at all. I'd rather have no credit and owe nobody. But I understand that there's an economic need sometimes for loans and credits and stuff. But I would rather you take a loan, or I feel sorry. I got a nasty taste in my mouth even saying that. I would prefer that people take loans in order to do something productive so that they can pay that loan back. Don't just get a loan to go party and have a wild weekend. If you need a business loan in order to start something, and you're going to create an expanded market and be productive in the economy, then that's all very well and good. But most people don't do that. They just spend and consume. They don't produce what they consume. I mean, they consume what they produce, and it just becomes it's a recipe for disaster. So that's really what this book is trying to tell you guys. So please, if you have the time, go read the book, or just listen to it on an audiobook. It's really only like 6 hours long. You can listen to that in the day at work, or just hanging out, or driving, or running, or working out, or whatever it is you're doing. But the takeaway from it, to break this all down, I mean, to condense this a little bit, because we're a little bit over 5-10 minutes. You want to make sure that you produce, but that you also consume less than you produce. And then you also want to make sure that when you do save your money, if you save it, it's probably not going to grow. So you want to invest it, but invest it wisely. If you're going to lend it out wisely, or find a way to do a combination of all those things together. So there's 5 things that you can do when you have money. I spent and lent wisely to other people who are going to produce things that will be productive to the economy and help us expand. I don't do consumer lending. I don't do consumer loans, because those are not productive. Those do not help they do not help the economy, and they don't help the economic wealth of everyone out there. So the very last key point to this, I promise, is that you all need to make sure that you save. Take a good inventory of everything in your life that you're spending money on right now. think about how much you are producing as far as income, and think about all the money that you have going out. You need to get the balance right. At the very minimum, at least get it even, and then after that, start saving more. Take good inventory. Be a good steward of your money. You have to. If not, you'll always be in debt. And if you're always in debt, you'll always limit yourself in the possibilities of things that you can do. And everyone out there that's listening to the Power and Science of Money are going to be doing major things, right? Shout out the horns. Anyway, make sure that you like and subscribe and follow me on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I think I'm streaming on Twitch right now. I'm all over the place. But you can find me just by putting in Power and Science of Money, and you'll find your boy. And make sure you check me out, and make sure you follow me on Instagram, because that's where I'm laying these books down. These books are the foundations of getting you to your economic path to wealth. You know what I'm saying? Or at the very least becoming comfortable, So ain't nothing wrong with that, right? Anyway, until next time, this has been your boy King Freeze. And until next time, peace.